Robert Albert Bloch was an American writer who most people know for writing the book for Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and not much else. He was born in 1917 in Chicago, Illinois, the son of bank cashier Raphael Ray Bloch and Stella Loeb. He attended Lincoln High School and then became a protege of H.P. Lovecraft. He married twice, first to Marion Ruth Holcomb in 1940, divorcing in 1963, and to Eleanor Zelisko Alexander in 1964. He died in Los Angeles in 1994. He wrote hundreds of stories and over 30 novels. We will cover his The Skull of the Marquis de Sade from 1965. The main problem with Bloch's writing is a kind of irritating in-your-face smugness, where he thought he was being very clever by going, "Oh, you thought this was going to happen, but this other thing will happen instead. Aren't I a clever clogs?" It feels like an emotional pendulum swing that is basically the same every time, even though the settings and characters change. But it just feels like the same actors putting on different costumes in front of new sets rather than something truly new. The title story is the best story in the book, but it's not actually horrific at all. Well, it has a lot of build-up to be horrific, with Christopher Maitland, collector of bizarre curios usually made from some portion of human anatomy, being visited by his grimy antiques dealer Marco, who offers him the skull of the Marquis. Maitland finds Marco nicked the skull from a friend of his before trying to sell it on, and we hear how weird people kept loitering around his friend's property at night and broke into his room to actually worship the skull. Maitland, probably not having read a single work of fiction in his life, decides to go pick up the skull from Marco anyway and finds him dead with his throat chewed out. Grabbing the thing, he brings it home, and of course it was the skull who killed Marco, and it kills him too. But I cannot suppress my joy at the final scene, where the skull is rolling on the floor and then gnaws on a bedsheet with its teeth, and lassoes itself onto the bed to finish off Maitland. And I have to think Bloch thought he was writing something very terrifying and creepy, but all I could think of was, look at little guy go. A queer funeral and The Man Who Knew Women both have this annoying noir crime thriller tinge to them that just spoils the mood further. The Weird Tailor is a weird mishmash of two basic ideas, neither of which work very well. A tailor who is abusive to his German wife is tasked by a stranger to make a garment out of a strange material with very specific instructions. The tailor tries to deliver the suit upon completion, only to find his would-be rich client living in a real dump with the suit made for his dead son he's keeping in the freezer. The tailor kills the obvious madman in self-defense, and decides to take his hoard of old grimoires in lieu of payment. But then he reads them and decides to burn them while his wife calls him a murderer for killing in self-defense. Then as he's beating her again, the window dummy she named Otto comes to life and kills him. It feels two different plots got stitched together and neither got the build-up it deserved. Lizzie Borden Took an Axe involves a malignant spirit possessing a woman to kill her old diabolist uncle, and then makes her boyfriend axe her in the brain when he finds her and decides to take a nap. The Devil's Ticket concerns an artist who pawns his soul to the devil, and he almost outwits him by drawing the devil's portrait to forfeit his own soul. But then Bloch has the loss of the pawn ticket mean the devil gets the painter's soul anyway, in a rather unsatisfying fashion that feels like cheating on Bloch's part. The boogeyman will get you has a 16-year-old girl think a man she fancies is a vampire, and this being the days before Twilight is actually worried about that. So he gives her a perfectly reasonable explanation for everything suspicious, says people will spread gossip anyway, and despite the soundness of his counter-arguments decides the best course of action to hide the fact he's actually a werewolf is to kill the girl who accused him first, because her sudden disappearance or recovery of her mutilated body will not rouse suspicion at all.